Welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. It's my Eurovision 2022 Top 40 Rankings Countdown. Place number 6. It's France, Alvan and Ahez, Fulenn. Please do click the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and like, share, and comment below. So what's this? France are not sending a song in French this year. Shock. Well, actually, it has happened several times before. Though, more unusually, though, it does mean that this year it has worked out that the contest is completely bereft of French, which happens very rarely, if ever. Ironically, last year we had French language songs in second and third places, and now we have no French whatsoever. But that's just the way things go. But in its place, we do have the delights of Breton. Now, Breton is not new to the contest. France have sent songs or a song that had Breton before. It was sung in Breton before, so it's not the debut of Breton. Although I suspect this will be its most high profile outing. Now, Breton, for those of you that don't know, it is a language that is spoken not by very many people anymore, but it is still spoken in Brittany, which is in the northwest of France. And its most closely related language is Cornish, from Cornwall, and after that, the next closest is Welsh. So yes, it is a Celtic language. We have a combination of artists. So we have the singer Alvan, and he is paired up with the vocal group Ahez to bring Celtic electronica to Eurovision. So I think it's safe to say that France has not played it safe once again. They've had a bit of a habit of, really being quite bold with their entries over the past few years. So will they get rewarded with another good result, having finished in the runners-up spot last year? They retained their national final again, and Fulenn triumphed in Eurovision France. C'est vous qui décidez. They won both the jury vote and the televote. And I think after the failure of Tanxigueras to win in the Spanish national selection, even though they won something extraordinary, like over 70% of the public vote, I think actually the fandom were then very pleased to see that we got this, that we do get a slice of folk electronica at the contest. And maybe it has worked out for the best, simply because obviously the Spanish entry that did win has been very well received by kind of international fans. And also it means we don't have two big five entries with the same genre, because I think they would have probably cancelled each other out completely. Or one would have got all the votes and the other one would have got none. And now there were some grumblings in France about the fact that France was sending a song not in French, as though this was the first time this had ever happened, which is, of course, these people probably had no idea about France's Eurovision history, when they have sent all sorts of things. They've sent Corsican, they've sent Breton, they've sent other languages. They've even sung mostly in English before. Yet this seemed to have passed those particular people by. They seem to be less bothered by the fact that actually some of the lyrics of this in Breton are quite... it's all about a woman of a village dancing very freely in the forest at night, even if that means that she's dancing with the devil. And she goes, "So what? I'm dancing with the devil." So yes, that's interesting. That's what people decide to focus on as being the more controversial element. I'm very happy that this won the French national final. It's exactly a genre I love. Ethno sort of folk electronica, and I have to say I have a particular connection to sort of Breton music, or that sort of Celtic Breton fusion side, because I was a really big listener of Mano, which were, or are still, a Breton hip-hop band, and they had some really big national hits in France in the late 1990s, which was when I was over there studying as part of my year abroad, and I had two big hits, and I remember buying their album, and I bought their follow-up album a couple of years later as well. And although that was sung largely in French, they were from Brittany, and it was all rooted in Breton kind of sort of folklore So yes, so it's really that's why I'm particularly pleased to see this at Eurovision. So, and it's not just the genre; it's a really good track as well. It's a great thumping up tempo. There's a darkness to it. It's just so energetic, and yeah, I think it's a really good entry from France. Alvan is really bouncy and energetic in his live performances. He's bouncing all over the place, really getting into it. He's been incredibly gracious and polite as well in the face of, how should we describe it? Certain adulation from great chunks of the fandom. But I think it's his energy that really drives this entry. And if I would say there was a small fault I'd pick with it, it was that the Ahez, the three of them, the three girls, I think sometimes not all of them necessarily look as to be quite as excited to be on stage. One of them, I think, always does. The other two have their moments, and their vocals are often very good. But sometimes there's a little bit of a. I don't think it's necessarily the easiest live thing to perform live. So hopefully that will. But then there's the pre-parties are difficult. Often can be difficult for sound mixing as well. So hopefully that will be overcome and it will be wonderfully smooth when it comes to the Eurovision stage. These are very minor points, I think. I think it's not just me who's enjoying this song. It's become very popular with fandom, high up in polls again. Bookie odds for the win aren't quite as high, but I think it's still in the top dozen. It's still on for a top placing. Although it's tricky to say exactly how it would do. There is a risk that it might not go so well. I think the staging could end up being a hot mess. Or equally, they could go the way of Go A, the Ukrainian entry last year, and provide kind of one of those great big live performance moments that people remember and being really dramatic, and they will hoover up an awful lot of televote points. Don't know how the juries will react to this. We shall have to wait and see on that. And I think they probably will be pushed to match the runners-up spot that obviously Barbara Pravi got last year with Voila. But I think top 10 is definitely achievable, and it will certainly be a fun moment, an energetic moment on the night. But do come back and see me soon for the top 5.